Hey everyone, this is your stimulus check update, second stimulus check update, and stimulus package update for Friday, September 25th. This video is for those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits, and for anyone else that's wondering about the second stimulus check and the stimulus package negotiations. In this video, I'm going to be going over the following. First off, the House Democrats are said to be releasing a $2.4 trillion stimulus proposal that they are hoping will reignite talks with the Trump administration. The bill would be a smaller version of the $3.4 trillion HEROES Act that was passed by the House of Representatives back in May. It would likely include $1,200 stimulus checks for individuals, including those on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. It would also include unemployment benefit extension, PPP funding for small businesses, as well as funding for airlines and restaurant industries. I will go over what's in this upcoming proposal and what I think about it, both the good and the bad. I want to welcome back those of you that subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, my name is Justin. I do stimulus check updates and give financial advice. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And if you find this content helpful, please hit the like button so that YouTube will share it with others like you. As first reported by Politico, Nancy Pelosi and some of the other Democrat House leaders are working on a $2.4 trillion stimulus proposal. This would be a pared down proposal from the HEROES Act, which was a $3.4 trillion stimulus proposal that passed the House of Representatives back in May, but never made any progress in the Senate. Rules Committee Chairman Jim McGovern said regarding this proposal, "We're trying to figure out how to move a negotiation forward because we believe the American people need some help. And so we're going to try. Our chairs are looking at everything again, and the hope is that we can come up with something." The idea behind this new proposal is to restart or reignite stimulus negotiations with the Trump administration. As many of you know, stimulus negotiations were going on between Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mark Meadows, and Steven Mnuchin back in July, but then kind of failed right before the August recess. Those talks broke down when they couldn't broker a deal, and the main sticking point was the fact that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats wanted at least $2.2 trillion, while the Trump administration back then wanted about $1 trillion. They have since come up to about $1.5 trillion, where President Trump has said that he would accept something up to about $1.5 trillion. Regarding this new plan that's being proposed, Nancy Pelosi told colleagues, "We are still striving for an agreement. If necessary, we can formalize the request by voting on it on the House floor." Last week, she said regarding the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, "We will negotiate with the administration and the Republicans, not with ourselves." Basically, she was saying, the Problem Solvers Caucus isn't good because we are lowering what we are calling for without even the Republican input. While that is not entirely true, as the Problem Solvers Caucus was a bipartisan effort between 25 Democrats and 25 Republicans. But basically she was saying, hey, don't move our negotiating position without even making any concessions on the other side. After Pelosi and many of the other House leadership rejected the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal last week, other House leaders urged that negotiations would move forward with the Trump administration and they get back to the negotiating table on the next stimulus proposal. One of those people is House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, who said, "We want to get a deal or an agreement with Mnuchin and the Senate because we all want a bill passed and signed. A message bill is one thing, but we want to get something signed so people get money." So my concern is this just a message bill, this $2.4 trillion deal, basically saying, hey, look, we've done our part, here's our $2.4 trillion deal? Or is it really where Nancy Pelosi really wants to get back to the negotiating table with Mnuchin and the Trump administration? That's what I want to see about this bill. So what's in this $2.4 trillion bill that is being proposed? While not a lot of the detail of this bill has come out yet, there have been some things that have come out, and basically general things that have come out. First off, $1,200 stimulus checks are likely to be in this bill, and that would likely include those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. It would also include PPP loans for small businesses, renewal of the unemployment benefit, which expired back at the end of July, state and local aid, of which There was $1 trillion included in the HEROES Act, and it will be interesting to see if this includes the full $1 trillion as the HEROES Act did, or if it will be a lower number, much like the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal, which proposed $500 billion for state and local governments. This proposal would also include funding for airlines and restaurants, two industries that have been hit especially hard from the coronavirus pandemic and especially the lockdowns. This has been a major topic of discussion, basically helping out the airline industries lately, as a lot of them are set to furlough or lay off a lot of employees coming up here soon. So if it does include provisions for airlines and restaurants, that would be a good thing, because actually both sides have recently been looking at at a stimulus package that would help airlines as well as restaurants. This $2.4 trillion proposal also includes a bunch of other provisions of which we don't know many of the details. So what are the things that I think are good about this proposal? Well, first off, the obvious ones is it's good that it has a stimulus check for individuals. It's good that it's renewing the unemployment benefit extension, as well as PPP loans for small businesses. Those are the things that I think would most directly impact people that are really hurting right now. And both sides, both Democrats and Republicans, have basically already agreed in one way or another to stimulus checks, unemployment benefit extension, as well as PPP funding. The other thing that I see that's good about this proposal is if it does actually bring the two sides back to the negotiating table. As I was saying, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mark Meadows, and Steven Mnuchin really haven't met since that August recess and right before that August recess. If this proposal is kind of something that gets them back to the negotiating table where they can actually go line by line and say, this is something we can't move on, well, this is something we can maybe move on, this would be a great thing. However, these are the things that I see wrong with this proposal. Much like the skinny bill that I thought was going the wrong way on the Republican side, this seems to be going the wrong way on the Democrat side. And by this, I mean it's going up from the number that Nancy Pelosi has previously said. Her previous lowest number was $2.2 trillion, while this proposal is said to be $2.4 trillion. That's going away from a compromise, and that's going further away from what the other side is hoping to agree to. Now, the main reason why I like the Problem Solvers Caucus was that it came together on so many issues and came together mostly on the price tag, where Republicans were really set at $1 trillion or possibly even lower. Nancy Pelosi was at $2.2 trillion and possibly higher. The Problem Solvers Caucus had a $1.5 trillion price tag, but with boosters could even go all the way up to about $2 trillion. This proposal seems to start at $2.4 trillion. That is well above what the Republicans have said that they would approve, and even well above what the Trump administration has said that they would approve. However, if this proposal does renew talks and gets us to a stimulus deal, then it will be successful. Anything less than a stimulus package deal and a deal that gets stimulus checks out to individuals and unemployment benefit renewal and PPP loans and all of the other provisions that are said to be in this next stimulus package, anything less than a deal on all of that is a failure. So that's my concern with this. Is it just a message bill? And by a message bill, I mean, is it meant to say, hey, us in the House of Representatives, we're working and we're doing things to try and get a stimulus package deal done. I think that's what the skinny bill was on the Republican side. It was basically saying, hey, look, we tried to pass this, but the Democrats wouldn't budge. And I think as long as this $2.4 trillion deal isn't that, basically saying, hey, look, we're working, we're trying to do something, as long as it's just not kind of like a, hey, look at us, and is actually to move them towards negotiations, then it would be a great thing. If it's just basically so that they can say that they passed something, then it's not going to be a good thing. It's not going to help out anyone. So like I said, anything less than a stimulus deal is a failure in my opinion. So if the House doesn't agree, or if the House agrees, but then the Senate doesn't, then it's not gonna help us at all. And the same thing, like in the Senate, if the Senate passes something that is not agreed to in the House, then it once again doesn't help us at all. They have to both sides agree on something. Many members of our own party are pushing Nancy Pelosi to move that number down from $2.2 trillion. So it'll be interesting to see if this $2.4 trillion stimulus proposal will actually get them back to the negotiating table. So I will keep you up to date on all the latest we find out about this new $2.4 trillion proposal, what the details of it are, and as well as if it does really move stimulus talks closer and gets them back to the negotiating table. That's the key. If this is just a thing that, even if it passes in the House, but it doesn't reignite discussions with the Trump administration and with Steven Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi on the next stimulus package, then it's a failure, and it really doesn't help anybody. So I will keep you up to date and basically give you all of the information I have as far as this $2.4 trillion deal. And if there are new stimulus negotiations, at this point, there haven't been. Unfortunately, the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal that I was so high on, that I felt so, that it was going to be the thing that got us the next stimulus package and stimulus checks for everyone, that really didn't go anywhere, and it was super frustrating for me, and I'm sure for you as well. But I will keep you up to date if this $2.4 trillion deal actually moves talks closer, or if it basically does nothing. So thank you once again for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon.